Welcome back, everybody, to the Graham Sports Network pregame show, episode 6. No episode last week. There was a lot of things going on with the hurricane. Power and limited internet kind of makes it difficult to edit videos. And at the end of the day, I didn't think it was appropriate to focus on this show and get this show out to you guys, given the circumstances to our community. So I didn't want to post anything. But as we are kind of on the back side of that, we'll get back into this pregame show. I hope all of you guys are doing okay. I hope you all are safe. And yeah, I know it's been a crazy couple weeks for sure. But on this episode, we'll catch everybody up on the past 2 weeks. We'll go through week 5 and week 6 games, and then we'll look into week 7. So we'll go through the Virginia High game and all the adversity those guys face. We'll go into the Marion game that we played last Friday. And then we got a bye week coming up. And then we take on Lebanon here in a couple weeks. So we'll go through all that stuff. But first, last week, Graham Golf finished second in the region tournament. So the week before, they won the Southwest District tournament. They went 5 for 5 or 6 for 6, something like that in the regular season. And then in the tournament, they finished first place at Holston Hills, which automatically qualified them into the region. And then last week, they finished second in the region at Holston Hills, which means the entire team gets to go to the state tournament, which will be on the 14th, I want to say, if I'm not mistaken. I think a week from now when I'm shooting this video. So McCartney Hinkle, also shout out to him for winning Region Player of the Year after shooting 2 under round of 70. Congrats to him. And best of luck to the golf team going in to the state tournament at Great Oaks Country Club in Floyd, Virginia. I actually have it written down right here on Monday, October 14th. So best of luck to you guys. Yeah, let's get into the episode. Hope you guys enjoy. Okay, so a couple weeks ago, the Graham G-Men took on Virginia High. Final score 27-14. It was a crazy few days. I think we missed school Thursday and Friday of that week. I want to say there were talks about maybe playing the game at Emory and Henry on Saturday, but then it ended up going to at Virginia High on Saturday at 1 o'clock. I think 95% of Bluefield, Virginia, maybe even 100%, lost power sometime Thursday or Friday. Practices were canceled that week. Game was postponed. And it was kind of like a last minute thing. If power goes out on Friday and you got to be at the school early the next morning, pregame meals just weren't what they usually are just because of all the mayhem. I think some players didn't even get to have a pregame meal. Overall, it's just a lot of adversity. I couldn't imagine being a young kid and going through all that stuff and no power, and just all the craziness. You guys have seen this devastation around our area, and thoughts and prayers up to those in North Carolina. I know they're going through it on a different level. So thoughts and prayers to those guys. But there was just a lot of adversity. But we were able to pull out a win. Chris Edwards had a touchdown early in the game, and Jasir Williamson had a pick 6. And then we were down 14-13 after 3 quarters. We didn't score again until Gabriel Lilly had 2 touchdowns in the 4th quarter to give us the win. And Gabriel Lilly and Jasir Williamson, players of the game for offense and defense, came out flat, I think, which maybe is to be expected after going through all that stuff. And played much better in the second half. Tough, grinded out win. A lot of adversity, a lot of extra stuff going on around the community and the outside. So we'll talk later in this episode, about this team just having grit. And just it seems no matter what adversity comes their way, they're able to fight through it and continue to fight and compete until the final whistle. And I think this was the same thing that we've seen from this team all year long, just a team that's willing to compete until the end. So, yeah, I didn't get to watch. I watched a little bit of the game, listened to the guys at Kicks Country. I think I was picking up, chainsawing up a tree, moving some firewood and all that, trying to clean up the house. So didn't get to make it, unfortunately. Didn't get to do a post-game interview for the Virginia High game. But overall, I'm sure the coaches are pleased. I know the players are pleased, going 5-0. Now we're 6-0. But, yeah, so, I mean, that's the Graham game, Graham versus Virginia High game recap. And we want to give a shout out to Visit Tazewell County. Thank you guys for sponsoring these videos. We'll put the game day guide, as always, in the comments of this video. And, yeah, if you have any questions or anything, all their information's over here. And thank you guys at Visit Tazewell County for sponsoring these videos. Okay, so as we shift into the Southwest District Week 5 scores, again, this was from a couple weeks ago. As we just talked about, Graham over Virginia High, 27-14. Lebanon and Richlands were supposed to play, and it originally got postponed to the Monday after the hurricane, and then it got postponed again to October 8th. At the time we're recording this video, excuse me, at the time we're recording this video, they have not played yet. They actually play tomorrow, Tuesday, on the 8th. But we'll be sure to update the score on the graphics so that you guys can see what the final score was. Tazewell took on Princeton and lost 70-13, and Marion was on a bye week. And as we go into the Mountain 7, again for Week 5 scores, Abingdon lost to Tennessee High 21-0. Ridgeview beat Lehigh 52-0. Leaving Ridgeview as the only remaining unbeaten team in the Mountain 7. And then Union beat Gate City 28-19. I thought that was probably the game of the week in the region for Week 5. Union was able to come out with a win. Patrick Henry beat John Battle 42-12, and Wise Central was on a bye week. And there's your Week 5 scores, and let's get into the Coach Mike Horton interview. All right, guys, so we have Coach Mike Horton on today, and he is the strength and conditioning coach for the football team. Thanks for coming on for an interview, Coach.
Thank you so much for having me. It's an honor.
Yes, sir. So when did you first get into lifting weights?
Just like most guys, from playing sports in high school. And then I went to college for a couple of years and played football at Concord.
Okay.
Then after that, there's a few years I didn't. And one of the local legends from my community named David Callahan was a power lifter at the time. He was a local football star back in his day.
Okay.
He start coming and asking me about getting back into lifting, and I got bit by the bug again. And so I started powerlifting and doing competitions.
Yeah.
That was in 1999.
Wow, okay.
So I've kind of been doing powerlifting ever since. That's been keeping me going.
Yeah.
And also coaching off and on too. So
yeah. Okay, so you talk about that bug. What is it about it that got you hooked?
I think where I was a former athlete, it gives you something to channel into. Mm-hmm. And it gives you, because lifting weights, you get out of it what you put in. So, you get to work towards a goal. And then as you accomplish your goals, then there's another goal, kind of like getting to championships and stuff, So, and plus it brings a lot of self-confidence, mm-hmm. and the aesthetic part I like too, looking good,
So what is your favorite lift?
My favorite lift is definitely the bench press. It always came easy to me. Yeah, within my first year of getting serious with it, I could bench 405, and I won most of the competitions I went to. And then I've benched as much as 600 pounds since then.
All right. You're the talk of the town, right, these last couple of years. I know everyone's like, who's that guy down there with the sleeveless shirt? I'm so glad you wore a sleeveless shirt today, too, man. So, yeah, you can tell. I mean, I'm kind of close.
You're getting there, man. I'm telling you, I got to start eating more.
So, what team? I know you're not only training the football team. Who else have you been training?
I also work with the girls' basketball team, too. their Coach D. Royal, and I played semi-pro football together back in the days in the early 2000s.
With the Barons?
With the Barons.
Okay, yeah.
And so we've had a great relationship ever since then. And he always told me once he got the position here that he would want me to help him out and work with his girls too. And it's the second year we've been doing it, man.
Awesome.
And I'm going to tell you the truth. Girls work harder than guys.
Yeah.
I really enjoy working with them. They really do.
Yeah. So when you're teaching these workouts, what's one or two key things you try to teach or focus on?
First and foremost is technique.
Mm-hmm.
So we always start off very light and just working on our technique because that's the foundation to getting gains and also to prevent injury.
Yeah. And
then from there, the next thing is being consistent, because without being consistent, you won't gain. Yeah. You'll stay there. So those are the two things, and the consistency part is something you can carry over into other parts of your life.
Yeah.
That's why I love this. This changes people's lives.
Yeah, I love it. So what's the best thing about being the strength coach here at Graham?
The best thing about being a strength coach is that I get to spend a lot of time with them. Probably me and Palmer spend the most time with them. Mm-hmm. I'm with them year round. So we really develop good relationships. Yeah. And so once the season starts, I feel like if they hear my voice, they'll respond, because we build that in the off season. Yeah. And I get a chance just really to be the energy guy. Yeah. You know, I don't have to worry about the X's and O's.
Yeah.
I'm the energy guy.
Yeah, that's fun. So what is or why is lifting so important in high school sports?
It sets your foundation for every sport. Most kids have muscle imbalances. They're growing, testosterone kicking in, hormones. So the lifting part, it doesn't have to be powerlifting. Mm-hmm. So I think a kid needs to lift just to develop and to take care of muscle imbalances, which in turn prevents injury. Yeah. And again, builds confidence in the weight room, and it carries over to their sport.
Yeah, absolutely. So what kind of environment do you like to create when you're in the weight room and you got all the guys or the girls? What kind of environment do you like to have?
Once again, you keep hearing me use this word, energy. Yeah. You get out what you put in. Yeah. So I like to have high energy. I let the guys crank the music. Yeah. You know, if a guy's doing a heavy lift, man, I want everybody around, or girls, and we cheer them on. Got to be energy. Yeah. That's what it's all about. It makes or breaks you in the weight room.
Yeah, absolutely. So any special players stand out that were great in the weight room from the past few years?
It's one in particular that sticks out, and I start training him actually before he got to high school. Mm-hmm. I started personal training him when he was an 8th grader, and he came to me kind of confident, slow, and just wanted to be a better athlete, and he became like a son to me. Sean Hughes.
Yeah. I went in there, I guess when I was interviewing Coach Palmer, and his name is still at the top of everything.
Yeah, he's my poster child.
Yeah.
I'm proud of him, and he makes me proud.
Yeah, he's
at Ferrum right now. Yeah. Playing football, actually getting some playing time as a freshman. Yeah. And he's a great leader.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Man of God, too. Yeah. It's important.
Yeah. All right, so some college and NFL pick'em games. Coach Sparks has the low bar, 1-5, and Coach Jones from cross country has the best at 5-1. So we'll see if you can go 6-0.
Let's see what we can do.
All right, so we got Texas and Oklahoma.
Texas.
All right. Ohio State, Oregon.
Ohio State. My daughter told me to pick Oregon.
Yeah.
I'm going to Ohio State.
Okay. All right.
Because my nephew Amari, that's his team.
Okay.
I'm going with him.
Okay. Ole Miss and LSU.
LSU.
All right. Kansas State and Colorado.
Got to go with Coach Prime.
Yeah.
I'm Coach Prime guy, Colorado.
Yep, absolutely. And then my team, the Commanders, going against the Ravens. Don't break my heart.
I hate to go against you, Coach, but it's hard for me to go against those Ravens.
I understand. All right, and the Lions and the Cowboys.
Cowboys are on the streak right now.
Yeah.
I don't have a dog in that fight, but I'm going to go Cowboys.
Okay. All right, gotcha. All right, well, Coach, thank you for coming on the interview, man. I'm glad we could kind of put a face and a voice
finally
with the arms that everyone sees on the sidelines, man. So, and I can tell just from this interview, there's no wonder why these kids love you, man. So thank you for all that you do, and keep it up, man.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it. Honor. Go G-Man.
All right, Coach. Thank you for coming on and doing an interview with us. I know a lot of you guys have probably seen him on the sidelines. I'm glad we were able to put a voice with those huge biceps that man has. So thank you, thank you, Coach, for coming on the show. I know the kids love you, man. We appreciate you. Thank you for all that you do for Graham High School and these teams. And yeah, so take him on, take the coaches on, and the college NFL pick'em. We'll put all the rankings right there. Coach Mitchum last week, or I guess a couple weeks ago, went 4-2, which puts her in second place, tied for second place with Coach Hill. Coach Jones of the cross country team still holds that first place spot, 5-1. We'll see if anybody can beat her. So yeah, if you want to play along, go ahead, put your picks in the comments of this video. And before we get into the next segment, I want to give a shout out to Swamp Fox Motorsports out of Princeton. We'll put all their information over right here. Thank you guys for sponsoring these videos. Thank you for supporting Graham High School. Excuse me, Graham High School, Graham Sports Network, Graham Athletics. Thank you guys. We truly appreciate you guys. So if you have any questions, feel free to take a drive out to their store or send them an email or call them up. So again, thank you all. Thank you to Swamp Fox Motorsports of Princeton. All right, so now as we shift into week 6 of the season, last Friday night we took on Marion. We won 58-14. We outscored them 37-0 in the second half. I did a little bit of math, which is scary. So if it's wrong, I apologize. We have outscored, Graham football has outscored their opponents 92-7 in the second half this year. 92-7. And we were a completely different team the second half. I thought we came out a little flat. Again, I think a couple practices were canceled last week. Not using that as an excuse. I know Coach Palmer is a no excuses kind of guy. But yeah, I mean, we just came out in that second half ready to play. I know that's been a big thing that I think Coach Palmer wants. And he mentioned in an interview, I think it was after the Union game, they just started doing what they're supposed to do. So hopefully they can figure out some of those first half, just coming out a little weak or not as amped up as we probably, as fans, want to see. But the second half team, yeah, if they can figure out that second half team and make them all 4 quarters, I think we have a shot at going pretty far in the postseason. I was talking to Coach Sparks at the Marion game. I know probably when you guys were reading updates, I know the NFHS cameras weren't working, unfortunately, in Marion. But if you were listening or following up with our updates, some people were probably a little concerned after the first half scores. But yeah, I mean, second half, completely different ball game. We look like the Graham G-men that we know and love in that second half. And I was talking to Coach Sparks at the game, and he said, when you're Graham, you're going to get everyone's best shot. You kind of have that target on your back. I mean, we've been pretty successful under Coach Palmer the last handful of years. And yeah, I mean, all these teams, no matter what their record is, they're going to take their best shot at us, which I think we can, just something that we need to expect from these teams. But in terms of scoring, this past week, Chris Edwards, who was our offensive player of the game, had 3 touchdowns. Campbell Fix with 1, Gabriel Lilly with 1, Blake Graham had 1, Dalton Roberts with 3 passing touchdowns on the night, and Isaiah Pruitt-Saunders had 2 touchdowns late in the game. Dylan Nash went 5 for 5 on extra points, and Lucas Nash went 1 for 1. And after a low snap or mishandled snap, he picked it up and ran in for a 2-point conversion towards the end of the game. As we mentioned, Chris Edwards, offensive player of the game. Jasir Williamson, defensive player of the game. He's starting to live in the backfield. I've noticed, especially these last couple games. And the scary thing is he's only a sophomore. So, yeah, I mean, he is going to wreak havoc on a lot of teams, I think, in the coming years. So shout out to Chris, shout out to Jazir Williamson on winning player of the game this past week. And yeah, that's the Grand Marion recap. All right, so as we dive into the Southwest District for the Week 6 scores, which happened this past weekend, Graham beat Marion 58-14, bringing Graham to 6-0 as Marion falls to 0-5, like we just talked about. Lebanon beats Mountain 7 team John Battle 42-7. Lebanon goes to 6-0 while John Battle falls to 0-5. Tazewell, in a close game versus Grundy, had a touchdown with, I want to say, less than 2 minutes left. I think it was like a minute 20 left. They scored a touchdown to beat Grundy 33-32. And Richlands falls to Ridgeview 55-0, and Virginia High was on a bye week. And as we go into the Mountain 7, Ridgeview remains the only undefeated team in the Mountain 7 after the 55-0 win over Richlands. Abingdon beat Wise Central 45-23, bringing Abingdon to 5-1, while Wise Central falls to 1-4. Union beats Twin Springs 48-8, bringing Union to 4-2 on the year. Gate City loses 21-0 to Tennessee High. Lehigh falls to Rye Cove 14-6, bringing the Generals to 2-3. And John Battle falls to 0-5 after losing to Lebanon 42-7. So there's your scores from Week 6 around the region. All right, so let's dive into the Graham Sports schedule for the next week or two. Football has a bye week this week, and they'll head to Lebanon next Friday the 18th, which could potentially be a matchup of the last two undefeated teams in the Southwest District. So I encourage all of Graham Nation to come out and support the G-Men in a matchup of two undefeated teams potentially. Then we are finally back at Mitchell Stadium for the first time since September 13th as we host Pulaski County. That game will be on a Thursday, the 24th. Again, that'll be on Thursday. As we go into the competition cheer, also shout out to them, 2 for 2. They won this past week at Jefferson Forest. Grand champs, which is the overall score or the highest overall score out of all teams, no matter what division. I think I saw Coach Mitchum or Coach Plott on Facebook put from 1A all the way to 5A. Graham had the highest score. So congrats, man. Keep crushing it. And let's keep it rolling as we go into Pulaski County High School this Saturday, the 12th. And then it gets into postseason play for them. If I'm not mistaken, I don't know with the hurricane if there's going to be a makeup competition or not, but if I'm not mistaken, that on the 26th they'll be in the region competition at Glenver High School here in a couple weeks. So they'll have an off week, maybe, we'll see. But the 12th and the 26th, those are the next couple dates. Best of luck to the golf team as they head to Floyd, Virginia to compete in the state tournament at Great Oaks Country Club. They are so close. They lost to Lehigh by, I want to say, 10, 11 strokes. And that's Lehigh won the state last year and brought everybody back. So it's a tall task for us. But, you know, all of our players dropped their score a couple, 2, 3, 4 strokes. We could see another state champion coming to Graham High School. So best of luck to the golf team as they wrap up their season in Floyd, Virginia next week on the 16th. Or I'm sorry, not the 16th, the 14th. And for volleyball, they face Richlands at Graham Middle School next Tuesday, the 15th, before heading to Lebanon on the 16th. And cross country wraps up their regular season when they head to Abingdon on the 23rd for the Don Cumbo invite, and then they'll be getting into postseason play. Best of luck to all of our teams as we are approaching the postseason for many of our sports. We're getting into the second half of football season, a couple weeks away from competition cheer going into the postseason. Just a week away from the state tournament in golf. And volleyball still has plenty of games left, and cross country getting into the postseason here before too long. So best of luck to all of our sports teams these next couple weeks. And we want to give a shout out to Andrew Scruggs Law, attorney at law. We'll put, excuse me, we'll put all of his information over here. So thank you, Scruggs, for sponsoring these videos. Again, big Graham fan, Graham graduate, loves all things Graham sports. So Scruggs, we appreciate you. If you have any questions, need any help with legal needs or whatever, give him a call. Take a visit to his office over in downtown Bluefield, Virginia. Thank you for sponsoring these videos. Okay, so overall, my thoughts on the first half of the season. I guess we're technically a little bit over halfway since we only played 10 games for football. But overall, I'm pleased. We're 6-0. I see us improving each week. I mentioned a few weeks ago on an episode, I always think we improve so much week to week. And I think it's been fun to see. It's been fun to watch these guys and these coaches. I think the best word to describe this team is gritty. Not the dance, but having grit. A lot of adversity has come our way this year, and they seem to fight all the way to the end. We'll talk about some of those things. Our defense is very talented. I think coming into this season, that was going to be the strong suit. That's what I was looking at. I mean, that front seven I thought was going to dominate it, and they've done a very, very good job this year. And I think for maybe a lot of fans, offensively that's the question mark. I'm sure the coaches are wanting some more consistency offensively. But at the end of the day, defense wins championships. And this is a very, very talented defense. You can, with a good defense, you can go very far in the postseason, man. So, I'm sure coaches they're still going to be working all the way, offense, defense, and special teams. I'm pretty positive about that. So, we still got 4 more games in the regular season. There's still plenty of room to improve. I'm hoping that we can continue to grow and do that. Just looking back at the season, the Bluefield game is such a tough game. We've seen Bluefield and their record kind of not up to what we're accustomed to. But with that Bluefield game, and you see the score that we had, I think we won 10-0. And people are thinking about, we only beat them that much by only 10 points. That game is a tough game. That's such a big rivalry game. There's so many extracurricular activities going on. Sometimes I even think players might be too hyped up for the game. And with that rain delay, you're ready to charge out of the tunnel in front of all these people, and then you got to sit in the locker room for an hour after you've already warmed up. And kind of the emotions, man, that can take can kind of just mess with you. That game, no matter how good or bad a team is, it's always hard to win. Rivalry games are always hard to win. I always think of Duke, Carolina. No matter how good a team is or how bad a team is, it's going to feel like 8 times, 9 times out of 10, it's going to be a very close game. It's just what rivalries are, and that's what makes rivalries so great, and even makes that Graham Beaver game great. Had a couple nice wins, week 2 and week 3 over Galax and George Wythe. And then the Union game was week 4. I think that's a big game that everyone circles. Bullitt Park is not an easy place to play. It was my first time being there this year. It is loud. It is very, very loud. And we were down 6-0 for a majority of the game, but stuck with it and got a touchdown there late in the fourth quarter to win 7-6. I think this team just continued to fight and continued to compete throughout all 4 quarters. That's one thing that I've really seen from this team. They will play all the way to the final whistle, and we were able to come out with a win in that Union game. And then we got the Virginia High game. School closures, power outages, postponing games, all due to a hurricane. Pregame meal, on a short notice. After losing power, which is, it was just very difficult. Just a lot of adversity all around that game. We were down going into the fourth quarter and managed to get a win. Again, there's the fighting and competing until the final whistle. And then Marion last week started out slow, but really came alive in the second half. And I thought they played a lot better. And I think that was after a couple practices getting canceled too last week. So there's been a lot of adversity, and I'll continue to use the word grit and the will to win that these guys have, and continue to fight until the final whistle. I think if you kind of have grit as a definition or the heartbeat of your team, you can take that. You can take that and far into the postseason. So hopefully they continue to do that and continue to improve each week, but continue to have that will to win, that desire to win, and the competitive spirit to fight until the final whistle. Hopefully that continues to stay with us through the rest of this season. At the end of the day, we're 6-0. How can you not be thrilled about that? So congrats to the team on going 6-0. I know, I'm sure you talk to the coaches. I'll say congrats on 6-0. They'll be like, well, we need to go 7-0 and try to go 8-0, 9, and just keep on just winning every day and winning every game. So best of luck the rest of the season. And yeah, so we're going to talk to Coach Palmer on some of his thoughts throughout this first part of the year going into the bye week. And yeah, enjoy the video. All right, Coach, thanks for coming back on. A couple weeks ago, you guys played Virginia High. A lot was not normal that week. Talked about your team just fighting through everything with the hurricane.
Well, I mean, like you said, it wasn't normal. So a lot of people didn't have power. Some of the guys hadn't had opportunities to eat, get food, and just do things that we normally do the night before you play a game. So, I mean, we had to become comfortable with being uncomfortable, you might say. So we just had to do it by the seat of our pants. We made adjustments as we went. Kids were resilient, went down there and played a football game and got the win.
Yeah. Overall thoughts on the game? How you feel you guys played?
I didn't think we played particularly well. I don't think we were very prepared that game. Some of it could have been just the circumstances, and others could have been maybe we didn't do a good enough job of practice that week. But however, it's all about wins and losses, and we got the win, so we'll take it however we can get it.
Overall thoughts on the Marion game?
I thought we had a slow start the first half. We kind of had a slow start. I mean, we only had 4 possessions the first half offensively. We scored on 3 of the 4. We ended up with 21 points in the first half. I think that we helped them a lot. We committed personal fouls. We gave up uncharacteristic completions that they got, jump balls. We just didn't execute the first half. Second half, we came out a little more motivated and pulled off.
I did some math, which is a little scary, but y'all are outscoring teams 92-7 in the second half this year. Talk about just some of the adjustments and what you say to get those guys going at halftime.
Well, I think not just me, but all the coaches do a good job with our halftime adjustments. We try to get an idea of what the defense is trying to do to us offensively. I think that, and we get an idea of what we need to take away from them to try to execute our game plan and go ahead and get the wins.
Yeah. So overall, you all are 6-0. You're first place in the region. How happy are you with this group and going into the bye week?
Well, I'm never going to be happy until we get the trophy in Salem. So, I mean, I think this group right here is just, super talented. We're nowhere near our capabilities of playing at this point. So we got to tap into that. We got to tap into each individual player to try to get them to be the best version of themselves so we can be the best football team we can be.
Yeah. All right, so what are a couple things you want to try to improve on as you kind of close out this regular season in a few weeks?
Just don't help teams beat you. Don't help teams make plays against you. Do the discipline things that good football teams do to win games. We can't get personal fouls on third down when they should be punting and all of a sudden they get a first down. Uncharacteristic things that we go over, but sometimes a young football team gets caught up in a moment. It seemed like most of those plays that are happening like that is the younger guy. So we got to wheel them in, talk to them about what the situation was, and hopefully they can learn from it.
All right, Coach, congrats on the 6-0 start, man. Enjoy your bye week.
Go G-Man.
All right, Coach, thank you for coming on and doing an interview again with us. Enjoy the bye week. Get rested up, get some players healed up, and we look forward to seeing you guys here in a couple weeks. As we go into week 7, for upcoming games this Friday night, first in the Southwest District, the undefeated Lebanon Pioneers head to Rural Retreat Friday night. Tazewell will host Virginia High this week, which will be a very interesting matchup in the Southwest District. These two are fighting for that 3 seed right now in the district. And I'd say this is definitely the game of the week in the Southwest District. Marion will host the 5-1 Abingdon Falcons Friday night. And the 6-0 Graham G-Men, as well as Richlands, will be on their bye weeks this week. In the Mountain 7 and the entire region will be the 6-0 Ridgeview Wolfpack hosting the 4-2 Union Bears. This game will have a lot of implications in the standings. If Ridgeview were to win this game, then you probably will see Ridgeview as the overall number 1 seed in the region. And if they lose, excuse me, you'll probably see Ridgeview and Union up there towards the top. And hopefully Graham will be number 1 in the rankings. So there's going to be a lot at stake in this game. I'll definitely be watching this one Friday night. As we mentioned earlier, the 5-1 Falcons will head to Marion Friday night. Lehigh heads to J.I. Burton High School. The Wise Central Warriors head to John Battle High School this Friday night in another Mountain 7 matchup. And the 3-2 Blue Devils from Gate City will be on a bye week. And that's your Week 7 upcoming games around the region. So thank you guys for tuning in. Did my best to go over Week 5, Week 6, and then leading up into Week 7 this week. So that's kind of what's in store. I know we're recording this on Monday, and the VHSL posted a couple weeks ago that they were going to release the rankings on the 8th. So by the time you're watching this video, you will have seen the rankings. We'll post it on our social medias. And I would assume that Graham and Ridgeview will be 1 and 2, whichever way it is. Ridgeview might be 1, we might be 1, who knows. But we'll get that posted for you guys. And yeah, like I mentioned, thank you guys for tuning in. With the football team on a bye week, I really encourage you guys to come out to some of these other games. The competition cheer team is crushing it. You know, they got, I don't even know how many first place finishes we have in a row, but I know we're 2 for 2 this year, and we got state last year, so that's at least 3 in a row. I want to say region they got first last year, so we might be, competition cheer might be on a 4-game win streak, I guess you could say. They'll be at Pulaski County Saturday. Be sure to go out to that one. Come out to some of these volleyball games, cross-country meets. If you're close enough, golf has a state tournament. If you're not doing anything on Monday, the golf has a state tournament. So best of luck to the golf team on Monday in Floyd, Virginia. Shout out to the Graham Sports Network team. Doing an awesome job, doing a great job. Dropped another interview Monday. Technically here in like 5 or 6 hours, we'll drop it. But by the time you're seeing it, hopefully you watched it. Sophia did a great job again. So thank you to her. Thank you to, Jocelyn Pruitt. She's been doing our competition cheer graphics this year. Bella Cacklis has been doing the post-game interviews. We've been getting a lot of good feedback from that as well. So thank you to her. Jillian McFarland took some pictures for us. Island Hart took some pictures for us. Gabby Cacklis took some pictures for us. Bella Sturgill did all of our golf graphics. Maddie Young has been doing our volleyball graphics. And I think that's everybody. If I missed anyone, I apologize. I don't have this written down, which is kind of scary whenever I'm just thinking about these things. So I want to say that I got everybody. Then yeah, thank you to all you guys. We got some more in store to get some other kids involved. It's just kind of taking a little bit of time. But yeah, also we want to shout out our 3 sponsors, Visit Tazewell County, Swamp Fox Motorsports, and Andrew Scruggs, Attorney at Law. Thank you guys for sponsoring these videos. We appreciate you all very much. And yeah, so enjoy the bye week. Glad we could catch you up. Glad we got to, hate that we took a week off, but it's all good. So we will see you guys next week on the next episode. And as always, go G-Men.